Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. PPPC gets a red flag from the Carter Observer mission. Reports of the misuse of state resources surface. Forward Guyana drags GECOM to court over alleged ballot exclusion from 3 hinterland regions. And GECOM bans the use of cell phones in polling stations. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Wednesday, August 20 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We have what you need to know this evening. We begin with a developing story. The Carter Center has given the People's Progressive Party Civic a red flag over several issues leading up to the elections. Misuse of state resources and the state media monopoly are among the key issues. Here is more. The Carter Center's election observation mission, in releasing a pre-election statement, has red flagged the People's Progressive Party Civic over complaints about the misuse of state resources and the state media. The Carter Center said it has received multiple allegations from political parties and civil society that the ruling party has misused state resources. The observers reminded that the use of state resources for party campaigning runs contrary to Guyana's international obligations with respect to campaign financing. Most recently, President Irfaan Ali was approached on the sidelines of an event and questioned about the People's Progressive Party Civic's alleged use of state resources for political campaigning. The president grew hot under the collar by the question.
Respond to reports that the government is using state resources to fund its campaign.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Because you haven't responded to the question I asked you. But the government of the People's Progressive Party does not need state resources to run our campaign. We are not using any state resources to run our campaign. Our campaign is run by the People's Progressive Party with all resources supported by the humble people of Guyana. And we are strong, we are ready, and we will defeat every force that is ahead of us.
I appreciate your response.
The Carter Center said too that several political parties reported limited access to state media, with their events receiving little or no coverage, and one party alleged they were denied the opportunity to place advertisements in the state media. Quote, in the absence of specific legal provisions regulating media conduct during the electoral period, the Carter Center encourages state media to provide equal treatment to all political parties. Unquote. Although the Carter Center is not conducting systematic media monitoring, the mission has noted and received reports indicating that state media coverage appears to be biased in favor of the People's Progressive Party Civic. On the issue of the 10-day workers, the Carter Center said it has also received reports alleging that the ruling party has used state-owned vehicles to campaign and taken advantage of the part-time government workers for campaign activities. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. With just 12 days remaining before Guyanese head to the polls, the Forward Guyana movement moved to the High Court, challenging the Guyana Elections Commission for unlawfully omitting duly approved candidates from the political party from the ballot in several hinterland regions. Here's that story.
On Tuesday, the Forward Guyana movement filed a court application challenging the Guyana Elections Commission regarding the removal of approved candidates from ballots in several regions. Amanzo Walton Desir, founder and presidential candidate for SGTM, stated that the application seeks constitutional relief under Part 56 of the Civil Procedures Rule. She argued that GECOM's exclusionary ballot practices violate Articles 59, 149, and 160 of the Constitution and provisions of the Representation of the People Act.
The Forward Guyana movement and the Assembly of Liberty and Prosperity have been excluded from the ballots in Regions 7, 8, and 9.
Walton Desir informed journalists that the regional candidates contesting in Regions 1 and 2 on the Assembly of Liberty and Prosperity Party were excluded from the ballots despite meeting all legal requirements to contest. She lamented that this sudden action by the Guyana Elections Commission is distressing and warrants the intervention of the courts, as it is a grave violation to the democratic rights of citizens.
That the electors in these regions are denied the opportunity to vote for duly approved national lists. This is contrary to Article 59, the right to vote, and Article 160, proportional representation.
The party's presidential candidate flagged that the affected regions are predominantly inhabited by Guyana's indigenous population. She contended that excluding party candidates in these regions amounts to discrimination on the grounds of race and place of origin. Walton Desir, also an attorney, said that this recent development also has severe implications on the systems governing proportional representation.
By artificially reducing the total national votes available to excluded parties, GECOM's practice distorts proportional allocation of seats in the National Assembly.
This newscast was informed that Crystal Hadassah Fisher, a registered voter in Region 9 and a candidate on the national list, claimed that GECOM's ballot design is unconstitutional, unfair, and ignores the voices of indigenous and rural communities. Dr. Vivian Williams filed an application seeking the court to declare that elections without full party inclusion are null and void, restrain GECOM from excluding qualified parties from national ballots, and direct GECOM to include the For Guyana movement in Regions 7, 8, and 9, ensuring that voters in Regions 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9 can fully participate in the elections. Antonio D reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
You need to know that the Guyana Elections Commission has decided to ban the use of cell phones in polling stations on Elections Day. You'll have more details in this report.
The Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, on Tuesday stated that as a matter of policy, decided to introduce a comprehensive set of measures to prohibit the use of cell phones within polling stations for the September 1st, 2025 general and regional elections. This decisive action to the elections body is aimed at protecting the sanctity and secrecy of the ballot, particularly to address existing concerns regarding the potential for vote selling. The prohibition on cell phone use and the penalties for vote selling are rooted in the Representation of the People's Act, Chapter 103. Opposition parties have been raising concerns since the announcement of the elections date that strict measures must be put in place to uphold the sanctity of the voting process, and considering that the integrity of the electoral process is of crucial importance. This measure is designed to ensure that every citizen can cast their vote freely and without undue influence, and that the secrecy of their choice is absolutely protected. As a consequence of the Commission's decision, the following measures will be implemented to enforce the prohibition of the use of cell phones in polling stations. Posting of a clear and prominent notice by the entrance and within every polling station explicitly stating, pictorially and in words, that the use of cell phones is strictly prohibited. Regular announcement to all voters in the queue by polling day officials, informing them to turn off their cell phones before entering the polling station. Every voter will be reminded of the need to turn off his or her cell phone before he or she is given the ballot to vote. The national ID card or valid Guyana passport or driver's license, as the case may be, of every voter will be retained by the presiding officer at the point of issuing of the ballot and returned after the voter has completed the voting process. Voting compartments will be strategically positioned to allow GECOM's staff and accredited party agents to observe if a voter is attempting to use his or her phone to take a photo of his or her ballot. This observation will be respectful of voter privacy while maintaining vigilance against the use of cell phones in polling station. In the event that a voter is observed attempting to photograph his or her ballot, GECOM staff and or party agents will immediately raise an alarm to prevent such action. Any voter observed taking a photograph of his or her ballot paper will result in a formal note being made of the incident, and a report will be immediately submitted to the Guyana Police Force for investigation. This is Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Marvin Cato. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality.
Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating machinery, excavator repairs, rice field pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC, Manripo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624-629-4021 or 619-7880. At Krishna Rolf Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
When you are identified at the polling station as the voter you claim to be, you will be given a ballot paper for you to vote. The election official who gives you the ballot paper must stamp it in your presence at the back of the top section and bottom section with the official 6-digit number of the polling station. If you are given an unstamped ballot paper to vote, it is your right to insist that it must be stamped correctly before you accept it to cast your vote. If you vote on a ballot paper that is not stamped with a 6-digit number, your vote will not be counted because a ballot paper that is not stamped is not valid. It is your constitutional right and civic duty to vote at the upcoming general and regional elections, providing you are listed in the official list of electors. Vote early on election day. For further information, contact GECOM on 225-027-729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GECOM website at www.gecom.org.gy.
Back to the HGP Nightly News. WIN party leader Azruddin Mohammed has committed to delivering meaningful change for Guyanese, outlining a series of promises focused on economic relief, cultural recognition, and national development. Here is more.
Among the key pledges made to the electorate by presidential candidate of the We Invest in Nationhood, WIN, Azruddin Mohammed, is the implementation of tax incentives to ease financial pressures on families and businesses. He also encouraged growth in key sectors, many of which include small miners and cane cutters.
Region 8 is very close to me. Very close to me for years now. You know why? Because of the small miners. Because of the poke knuckles. And when I'm sure of the small miners, if we're going to come in back here, when I take office, I'm going to come in back here and meet with the small miners and put systems in place.
He further highlighted plans to establish a national indigenous people holiday, honoring the heritage and contributions of Guyana's first people. Mohammed emphasized that these commitments form part of a broader vision to create opportunities for youth, strengthen social services, and foster unity across communities. Other campaign promises include increasing the old age pension from $41,000 to $100,000 and increasing public assistance from $22,000 to $50,000. The promises were met with optimism, as well as the party's leadership, that their message of empowerment and reform will resonate with the electorate as Guyana prepares for the upcoming elections. Jada June reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Joretta Fernandes, a Partnership for National Unity's prime ministerial candidate, in a passionate address to hundreds in attendance in Lethem, highlighted the poor infrastructure and substandard healthcare and education facilities across hinterland communities. Fernandes assured that after the September 1 elections, their living standards will significantly improve under new leadership that has a vision. Antonio Day reports.
A government is responsible for building roads, making sure you have electricity 24 hours, making sure you have access to clean water.
That was Joretta Fernandes, prime ministerial candidate for the Partnership for National Unity, speaking during a public rally in Tabatinga, Lethem, Region 9 on Tuesday. Fernandes highlighted the hardships faced by indigenous communities, citing poor infrastructure, inadequate health care, and weak education systems.
There is no indigenous community in Guyana in which our people receive quality health care under the PPP administration.
The young woman, who will be Guyana's first indigenous prime minister, should the APNU be elected to government after the September 1 polls, referenced the deplorable hostels in neighboring communities. The former member of parliament noted that despite the $7.2 billion budgetary allocation towards the development of hinterland communities, many residents are still living under deplorable conditions.
They have been failing you not because there's no money. They've been failing you because they do not care.
She criticized the current PPC administration's neglect and pledged a people-centered development plan aimed at delivering real commitments rather than empty promises.
We have got to create a comfortable life in our ancestral home. And what we have done is we have recommitted to indigenous communities to continue the development that we started between 2015 to 2020. This is not a promise. This is a commitment, people.
The Partnership for National Unity also pledged to create an Amerindian Heritage Fund to support the study and preservation of Amerindian culture, including language, religion, food, ceremonies, traditional medicine, and crafts. It also vowed to increase the current 15% carbon credits payment to 50%, which will go directly towards benefiting indigenous villages and communities. Antonio De reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Forward Guyana Movement's presidential candidate Amanza Walton Desir sees job creation as very critical, particularly for a rapidly developing nation like Guyana. She has since pointed an accusing finger at the ruling People's Progressive Party civic government for its attempt at pulling numbers from thin air as it relates to key employment data. Marvin Cato tells you more.
Forward Guyana Movement presidential candidate Amanza Walton Desir is questioning the legitimacy of claims being made by the ruling People's Progressive Party civic government that since returning to the seat of governance, it would have created more than 60,000 jobs. Without hard evidence being made available, this PPPC billboard is on public display and Walton Desir is demanding answers.
I'd be interested in where those jobs are and what are the quality and caliber of those jobs, because I know that they had boasted about employing 40,000 people as 10-day workers. So, what are the other 10,000 jobs allegedly?
The PPPC government has been boasting about its resolve to tackling unemployment, but the Forward Guyana Movement presidential candidate says this is all but an illusionary truth effect.
The PPP has mastered the art of Goebbelsian propaganda. They believe that if they repeat one thing over and over again, notwithstanding that it's false, it becomes true.
According to Walton Desir, it proved impossible for anyone to access such critical data, even at the legislative level.
We have been trying in the parliament to get information on exactly what these jobs are, on exactly what the quality and caliber of the jobs are. And that information is not forthcoming. The 40,000 10-day workers who we are not even sure exist because we were aware of the corruption in that system as well. We are aware that one house got their mommy, their auntie, nephew, everybody name on a list.
In its 2020 manifesto, the incumbent had claimed that under the APNU AFC government, some 30,000 jobs were lost, and it had committed to creating 50,000 jobs, targeting youths in particular, once elected to office. The party had intended to create an exciting future with opportunities for higher education and expanding vocational skill set that will ensure more disposable income in the pocket of youths. This is Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Marvin, for your reporting. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Combo pack of you feeling best. Sunshine stacks above the rest. There is no contest, is the best mix, so we feeling best. Best value to how you're feeling. All it cheesy, too much ripples and more combo pack of flavors galore, yeah. Combo pack of we feeling best. Sunshine stacks above the rest. There is no contest, is the best mix, so we feeling best.
Enjoy Sunshine Snacks Combo Pack. Best mix, best value.
Best mix, so we feeling best.
I got a real problem, buddy. I want to vote on election day, but I got to work a 12-hour shift every day from Monday to Friday, from 6 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon, boy.
I got the same problem. I registered to vote in Kitty where I live in, and I walk in till up in Linden. And I only get Sunday to go home, and then back again Monday for work.
You know, truly speaking, the hours you work in and the place where you work should not prevent you from voting.
Really? How come?
Listen. The law makes it absolutely clear that employers should give time off to their employees so as to vote. All you have to do is inform your employer that you need time off to exercise your constitutional right to vote.
For real? That's exactly what I can do.
Hey, me too, buddy.
Yeah.
I can do that too, buddy.
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gecom.org.gg.
Back to the HGP Nightly News. At just 12 years old, while many of his peers were adjusting to the excitement of secondary school life, ENRIQUE SEOSARRAN was quietly making history on his own. With only 6 months of preparation, he did not only sit, but also passed 2 CSEC subjects.
When ENRIQUE SEOSARRAN and his mother moved from Berbice to Georgetown, he had only 3 months to prepare for the National Grade 6 Assessment, NGSA. Despite the short time he placed third in his school, Isa Islamic, securing a spot at St. Stanislaus College. But ENRIQUE chose to remain at Isa Islamic, where he soon set his sight even higher, attempting CSEC Mathematics and English at the age of 12. While managing 8 school subjects and extra lessons, ENRIQUE's routine were grueling yet inspiring. He studied late into the night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and woke before dawn to continue from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m.
First, I studied all the topics. Then I went and worked CSEC past papers. And whenever I get a question wrong, I would go back and study the topic that the question is on.
ENRIQUE, who aspires to become a medical doctor, encourages other students to believe in themselves and stay consistent.
Be disciplined with your studies and never give up on your dream.
Enrique's success is also a testament to the vision of his mother, Rouhani Etwaro, who recognized her son's brilliance from an early age. When she gave him his CSEC mathematics paper as a test, he shocked her by answering questions far above his level. Determined to nurture his talent, she sought extra lessons.
I called a few lessons and I asked if he can take fifth form lesson. I was refused. I was even embarrassed by some of the teachers that I approached.
But then came a breakthrough. Sir Chase of Chase Academy accepted Enrique into after-school sessions twice weekly, opening the door for him to chase his extraordinary academic journey. Even when Rouhani fell ill during the exam period, Enrique pressed on.
Parents, don't underestimate your kid. Don't tell yourself or tell your kid that he or she cannot do it.
When the new school term begins, Enrique will be entering fourth form at Chase Academy, where he will prepare to sit 15 CSEC subjects. Tiana Co reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
After serving in the Guyana Police Force for some 30 years, former Deputy Commissioner Dr. Paul Williams is entering the political sphere due to the rise in crime among youths. Dr. Williams is optimistic that his involvement can restore law, order, and accountability. Antonio Day will tell you more.
The persistent problem of youth unemployment is one of the primary causes of local crime, and Dr. Paul Williams, candidate for the Partnership for National Unity and former Deputy Commissioner of Police, urged citizens to honestly examine the underlying causes. He added that consideration must be given to whether the government has done enough to the empowerment of young people, particularly for those from disadvantaged communities and backgrounds.
Lots of children are leaving school because some of them cannot cope. And then that of itself put a pressure on them. They're to step out into society, and then what happens? They just may be able to just do a little labor work.
The former Deputy Commissioner of Police lamented that young people are forced to take advantage of odds and ends opportunities in order to survive because of the high rate of truancy in many schools. Along this context, he reasoned why national service, which was implemented during the First Burnham era, was necessary.
Children run afoul or run delinquent, national service bring them back, equip them with skills and put them out there.
Founded in 1973, the Guyana National Service was a paramilitary organization designed to combat youth unemployment and recidivism, but was abolished in the early 2000s under the People's Progressive Party Civic. Dr. Williams, also a practicing attorney, noted that there is a significant shortfall under this current administration to holistically address issues of youth unemployment.
For the last 5 years, how this government really truly treated the society, I'm saying that they are the major contributors to the crime situation.
The former Deputy Police Commissioner, who is now a politician, highlighted that APNU's 56-page manifesto presents empowerment opportunities for youths that will be put into action.
Education, which plays an important role, is going to be of great importance.
APNU's manifesto also vows to provide students attending technical institutions and University of Guyana with a monthly stipend of $50,000. A National Youth Investment Fund will be established for young people to access grants and low-interest loans. Additionally, youths will benefit from training in areas such as leadership, civic responsibility, family planning, and financial literacy. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The Alliance for Change has unveiled a sweeping new policy to reform Guyana's state-owned enterprises, saying the goal is to bring efficiency, transparent, and free from political interference. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
The plan covers key services like water, electricity, and transport, and calls for clear mandates that balance financial strength with reliable, affordable service. Each enterprise will be required to meet strict performance targets, monitored through annual contracts and public scorecards. The AFC is also proposing independent boards that include experts in finance, engineering, environment, and consumer affairs. These boards will include audit and risk committees and will give the parliamentary opposition a seat at the table. To ensure accountability, all state-owned enterprises, SOEs, will be required to publish budgets, performance data, and audit results. Managers will be hired on merit, placed on fixed-term contracts, and rewarded based on results, not politics. The policy also pushes for modern technology, including smart meters, digital billing, and AI tools for better planning. At the same time, it emphasizes sustainability, urging SOEs to support vulnerable communities, promote climate resilience, and use local suppliers in procurement. Oversight will come from a new state ownership unit within the Ministry of Finance tasked with coordinating governance and building expertise. According to the AFC, the reform will restore public trust and transform SOEs into world-class service providers, helping to drive Guyana's transition into a modern and inclusive economy. Tiana Co reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Your regional news is up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Step right up because it's time for Digicell's $12 million Punch and Win. Top up with just $1,000 or more for a shot at winning up to $2 million weekly. That's right, up to $2 million weekly. 6 weeks, $2 million per week. Will you be one of our lucky winners? There's only one way to find out. Top up, punch, and win. Only with Digicell. Digicell, better connected.
The moment is coming. He has the ball. Will he make the shot? And he made it! Goal! This is the biggest win we've seen in ages. Feel the rush with every bet and win big. Play online at www.ibetgamesui.com.
With iBet Supreme, every game is your game. iBet to win with iBet Supreme.
Must be 18 years and older to bet.
The One Guyana Floating Production Storage and Offloading Vessel has achieved first oil, marking another historic moment for our nation. With the Yellowtail project now in operation, production will eventually increase by 250,000 barrels per day, taking Guyana's national output capacity to over 900,000 barrels daily, the highest per capita in the world. This milestone means much more opportunities for Guyanese, from jobs in transport, engineering, and construction to new contracts for local businesses.
What's going on here, man? Why do the two of y'all look so gloomy?
Uncle Joe, you know thief man in we house and thief all we valuables, including the ID card. Now election come around and we want to go vote. We ain't get no ID card to identify ourselves. Now we can't go vote.
Well, you need to apply to GECOM to have your ID cards replaced. But you need not worry that you won't be able to vote because you don't have your ID cards. GECOM has put other measures in place to accurately identify voters like you who may not have the ID cards.
Well, how they gonna do that? How they gonna know is we name on the list if we don't have ID to prove it?
In addition to your ID card, voters can present their valid passports or valid driver's license if they have these.
Really?
But further, GECOM has placed your photograph alongside your name on a folio which will be at the polling station. And if you go to the polling station without a photo ID, you will be asked to state your name and address. The elections official will look at your face and then compare it with the photo alongside your name on the folio to confirm that they are the same. Then you'll have to answer some questions to verify your identity. If the election official is satisfied that you are the person who you claim to be, you will be allowed to vote after taking an oath of identity.
So you get to vote?
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Good evening and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. The United States has accepted a request for consultations from Brazil at the World Trade Organization regarding tariffs it imposed on its goods, even as it argued the levies are a matter of national security, according to a document posted on the WTO website. President Donald Trump slapped a 50% tariff on most Brazilian imports, earlier this month in response to what he has called a quote-unquote witch hunt against his Brazilian ally, former President Jair Bolsonaro, who is on trial on charges of plotting a coup following his election loss in 2022. In the documentation submitted to the WTO on Monday, the U.S. argues that certain requests from Brazil relate to issues of national security, which are quote-unquote political matters not susceptible to review or capable of resolution by WTO dispute settlement. The tariffs, the document added, were necessary because recent policies and practices of Brazil are undermining the rule of law and threatening the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced on Monday the deployment of 4.5 million militant men throughout the country, assuring that, quote-unquote, no empire will touch the sacred soil of Venezuela, after the United States doubled the reward for information, leading to his arrest and increased the number of troops sailing around Latin America and the Caribbean. Last week, the U.S. government confirmed that it had ordered naval movements in the region to contain the threat from drug trafficking groups. The president described the quote-unquote extravagant, bizarre, and outlandish U.S. threats are quote-unquote rotten rehashes, without specifying what he was referring to. Quote-unquote, we defend our seas, our skies, and our lands. We liberate them. We guard and patrol them. No empire will touch the sacred soil of Venezuela, nor should it touch the sacred soil of South America, he emphasized in his speech. The Venezuelan government rejected Washington's accusation of drug trafficking, saying in a statement that the U.S. was resorting to threats and defamation. Pakistan has restored 70% of electricity service and reopened damaged roads in the north and northwest after flash floods killed more than 300 people, officials say. Information Minister Alatullah Tahrar said on Tuesday that engineers were working to fully restore the electricity system that was knocked out by the flooding last week. Monsoon rains triggered floods that have killed more than 700 people nationwide since June 26, the National Disaster Management Authority reported, while Tahrar said more than 25,000 people have been evacuated. The information minister said most roads have been cleared, facilitating the supply of food and other essentials to flood-affected areas. Thank you for watching. I am Tiana Cole.
PPPC gets a red flag from the Carter Center Observation Mission. Reports of the misuse of state resources surface. Forward Guyana drags GECOM to court over alleged ballot exclusion from 3 hinterland regions. And GECOM bans use of cell phones in polling stations. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching.